complex PTSD for me has been a multifaceted approach to dealing with it. You see, I still have this hypervigilance thing where there's times where situationally I get a little bit freaked out. I'm grateful my wife has some grace, but I get freaked out. Like situationally with people, I became hypersensitive to situations and how things are interpreted by me. They could be interpreted a bit over the top. So, for example, I'm over at the park with my daughter the other day, and we're on our way home, and I'm walking, and I'm aware of everything around me at all times. I'm like, boom, this person, this person, this person, this person. Obviously, that's hypervigilance. And this woman pulls up to me, and she says, "Oh, I'm just looking at the school. I'm not going to abduct your daughter." Something to that effect. That's literally what she says to me. "Oh, I'm not stalking you." That's what she said. "I'm not stalking you." But see how I interpreted it as, I'm going to abduct your daughter. I'm not going to abduct your daughter. And so that got me really freaked out. So I started talking to her, looking around me. Boom, there's an old guy behind me walking down the street. And so I just go back into the park and move towards the park while I'm watching both of them until they're both out of sight. And then I continue on my way home. Now, that experience right there is such a prime example of hypervigilance. And so being able to determine precisely what the risk factor is versus what reality is sometimes is hard for me when I'm in those moments. I just get these feelings and I'm like, whoa. I think complex PTSD also has a lot of flashbacks for me in it. I mean, an incredible amount of flashbacks. Like holy cow. I recently had one that I just made my last video about, and it was really difficult to get through, but with all the tools and all the wisdom that I've learned from years and years and years of processing hard things, that one was pretty, the easiest it's ever been for me, because now I have a tool that is so powerful that fundamentally I can change what memories mean to me. And if I do that, then I don't have to sit there for 6 months and process the memory. If I can underlyingly change what it means to me, I've now changed the impact it has on my life. And then there's a bunch of other stuff with, like, you know, I've had multiple suicide attempts in my life. Just complete disgust and self-hatred towards myself for a very, very long time. And now that I'm on the other side of all that, I just want to live. I just want to experience life. I just want to care for people. I want to help people get free from that bondage that they're under themselves. And at the time, though, going through this, it's like, man, multiple attempts on my life, just this, you know, it always came down to this sense of, I'm such a despicable human being. Why should I even exist? That right there is incredible toxic shame. One of the other things that happened in my life with complex PTSD is that there was a couple of times where there's some self-harm in my life, where I had a knife at one point in my right hand and was going to do some self-harm, and I was like, this is stupid. But what I didn't understand is that I would self-harm in different ways, and this directly links into my food addiction. You see, me eating 3 candy bars, 6 cups of coffee, all this trash all the time, I'm self-harming myself still to this day with my food addiction. I feel like there was a release or a breaking point in my food addiction this weekend. I'm really excited to dig into that over the next few months and discover how to get free from it. But I think in particular, like, I'm still doing this self-harm thing. I'm just doing it through food, which is a wild realization, is that instead of harming myself to the point where I no longer exist in a swift manner, I'm harming myself over a long, long period of time that's slowly getting shorter and shorter as I age. But it's still self-harm. You know, there is no reason for me to eat a bag of Doritos and 3 candy bars and a cup of coffee and a gallon of ice cream. Like, what's wild is when I'm even engaging that behavior, I don't feel any of the effects of these things. I don't feel the sugar high or any of that stuff, which is really weird. And so it's like, what am I really even doing here? I'm not even getting anything out of this. And so that's really a focus of mine going forward, is like I really have to be focused on using the tools known as food for consumption instead of for overconsumption. And so this year, my goal is to really get myself healthy and in a good place. I'm going to definitely, post that journey as I go along the way here, because I think it's really important that we are all not alone in the things that we struggle with. I've been alone my whole life trying to figure this out, and then I found community, and I had some people that I could trust, but I'm hoping that I can connect with a larger community in life and like be of service to people, and at the same time learn and grow with them as well. Another big thing is this distorted view of myself. Like I've always seen myself as, despicable and disgusting until I got in my 30s. I mean, like, which is crazy to think about, but like 3 decades of my life, I literally spent as somebody who was unacceptable, unvaluable, not important, and was vile. Like, think about that. That's crazy that's my life. Like, that's how I saw myself. And what's wild is all that was subconscious. I didn't see it in the moment. I didn't see it in reality, but within myself, whenever I would sit and be alone and close my eyes and be present, I would hear these things about how vile I am as a human being. And I didn't really want to be that person. I just was, Another big part of complex PTSD is like these gastrointestinal issues. I've had huge issues with my esophagus and stuff like that my whole life. I can't really eat hot stuff, and I got to take pills for acid reflux and stuff like that. And so I've had those issues for a long time, and it makes me really, really like miserable when I am not doing my pills and not taking care of myself, which still happens from time to time. Like, I won't take my pills. I'm supposed to take these things. They're always going to help me. And yet there's this self-harm aspect of my life where it's like, I won't take my pills, even though I know it's not good for me. And it's just stupid. Or it's stupid, or maybe it's a cry of my soul to say, hey, where else am I not taking care of myself? That could be a big part of that too. Where else am I not loving myself and taking care of myself? Like, I really think that is a big, big, big issue for me, is like genuinely loving and taking care of myself. And I know it starts with working out and taking care of my body. And so that's the next phase I'm going to get into here, is like taking care of me, because I'm valuable and I'm important. I never had those thoughts before in my life. Valuable, important, have something to offer the world. That all really, really I had illusions of it where it's like, I would think that, but I wouldn't act on it. This is the year of action for me at 41 years old. A bunch of nightmares, man, sleep disturbances. Like, that was also a big part of this for me. I wake up in the middle of the night all the time. Crazy stuff happening. I'm heightened on edge, like somebody's breaking into my house or something. Like, it's kind of weird, to be honest. It's just a bit weird. But with that said, like, I also feel like, yeah, it may be weird or whatever, but the truth is that that's a big part of my life. Like, and I've every single time I've remembered a dream, which is quite rarely. I don't really remember dreams much. Every time I've remembered a dream, it's led towards greater restoration of my personage and my being. And so I really like the idea of remembering dreams of this stuff. Like, I don't mind getting woke up at 3:37 in the morning and I'm looking around like somebody's about to, I don't know, be in my house, like stealing stuff or something. I feel like that's a really big part of my life, and has been for a long time. that slowly, like once I hit 35, it slowly started dissipating. I think that getting married was a massive shift in my brain and in my spiritual sense and in my experiences at night, because it's the first time in my life I ever felt safe, like truly safe with another human being. And out of that safety, it gave me much less of this particular thing in my life, much less waking up in the middle of the night, da 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 da. You know, like not getting great sleep has been a consistent theme of my life. And even to this day, if I get 5-6 hours of sleep, I'm good. I'm Gucci. But I think another big part of this is with my complex PTSD is like I have a tremendous avoidance skill. And if I could actually get this skill in use for things that aren't in alignment with my goals, oh my goodness, I get so much stuff done. But I have an avoidance skill. I guess I could say I can literally know exactly what I need to do and then just avoid it for a year, which is like kind of absurd. But that's a big muscle I've built in my life. And so now I've got to like use that muscle and use that avoidance skill to avoid time wasters, to avoid distraction, to avoid things that are not going to accomplish my goals. Like that's what I'm learning is like every single time I pick up my phone and I'm going to scroll and do something, I ask myself now, is this going to advance my goals? How am I advancing my goals in life? And the answer is 99% of the time, no, it's not going to advance your goals. I'm watching a random YouTube video about somebody dropping rocks on a frozen pool. Like, what? Why? Who cares? You know? But I think that what I've learned about that particular thing is there's not enough playtime in my life. Like I need to go on adventures. I need to play a video game with my brother. I need to do something. And like that has a incredible return because instead of here's a better way of saying this. The less I scroll is when I have recharged and I'm like capable of moving forward because of how much fun that I've had. If that makes any sense. Like the more fun that I have in life, go on an adventure, hang out, smoke a cigar, be with my brother, hanging out, like or my friends or my family, like the more fun that I have, the more I can get away from this avoidant thing. And the more I just start doing work, boom, 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 boom. I just start sending it, which feels really, really good. I think that this avoidant thing of people, places, and responsibility, I am so excited when that becomes a tool in my life instead of a weapon, because at that point, I will be able to just cut off anything that isn't going to move me towards my goals or isn't my higher tier life experience goals, like being around family and whatnot. I think complex PTSD is something that I am still working through, and that's really a synopsis of how it has really affected me. And I'm grateful to say that I have developed the tools necessary in my life to have these flashback experiences and this stuff coming through and be able to communicate that to other people and then to build instantaneous plans like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing right now. How am I going to get the result I'm looking out of this? You see, a lot of my complex PTSD and a lot of my past with this, instead of finding a result, like what is the lesson? How can I grow from this? Or who do I need to forgive? Or what can I clean out inside of my soul from this? What I've found is in the past, it's like I just sit there and I just ruminate and ruminate and ruminate and ruminate. Whereas now, with the tools I have from over a decade working in mental health for myself, working in recovery with other people, I can now say what really matters, which is what is the result? Yes, this is the data that's here. You know, in the recent thing I figured out, like that there'd been some molestation in my life as a kid. Here's the data. That happened to me. And do I want to spend the next 6 months trying to get a result over here? What is the result from this data I'm looking for? And the answer is really the result I'm looking for is greater spiritual growth, becoming more of myself, being able to forgive quickly, even though it's a heinous thing that happened to me. I'm going to forgive quickly. I'm going to release that to the universe and God, and I'm going to let that thing go because I'm not going to have it control my life. And ultimately, what I've determined is the result is what I'm looking for. What is the result out of this? The result is I need to love myself more. I need to give myself grace more. There's a wounded little boy inside of me that was destroyed as a kid. And I need to be more present and discover more of that wounding so that I can truly get healing from it. That's the result. And so I could sit here for 6 months and be a victim, and I could go back into self-loathing and self-hatred and not be a great husband, not be a great father, and not be a great friend, and not be a great brother. Or I can say, what is the result? Okay, this is the result I want. I'm going to use all the tools that I've learned on how to process extreme trauma through processing, 18 years of extreme trauma in my life. And now I'm 41 and I'm through everything that I am aware of. I'm sure there's going to be more to be aware of, but what's exciting is that these things no longer cripple me anymore. I get excited when I have more things inside of me to heal and to process, because on the other side of that, I get more of myself. And so really what I've determined is that the faster I'm willing to release whatever the trauma is to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the faster I'm willing to release that, and the faster I'm willing to discover what is the message of this and how do I change that message, and then how do I change what this memory means to me, and then what are the phrases associated with this memory? How do I change those phrases in my subconscious mind? When I do that work, instead of me being in therapy for 6 months, a year, who knows how long, I've done enough therapy and enough psychoanalysis on myself where I don't have to give the time of my life to be able to process these things. I just have to go back in time and change the meaning of it to be a awful thing that happened to me. And then as an adult, I talk to my younger self, which brings a great healing. And then I communicate with the great beyond, and that gives me great healing. And then I'm in this place where the effects of the shame and guilt and the self-loathing and all those things that happened from what happened to me no longer affect me.